Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Mauling League's Dungeonbowl week number 6. We've got a fun one for you tonight, the second game of our doubleheader this evening. It will be the Bone Breakers versus the Goodest boys, Galeshi versus Old Gamer Mike, Blackworks versus Necro. Let's take a look at these standings before we take a look at these two teams. Just 6 teams remaining in this competition after the Harlequins win earlier this afternoon, and there are 2 in Division A, and that's the top 2 teams. A Kind Sirs, Kind Peacocks, currently in first place. They're an Imperial Nobility team, 4-1-1 is their record. They are still in this competition, as are the Dead Poets, S. Beaver's undead team. They are also 3-1-1. The Dead Poets face off against the Deadly Biscuits, who were unfortunately eliminated with the Harlequins win this evening. And if the Dead Poets, well, the Dead Poets need to win. They really need to win in order to stay alive here in to make the top 4 cut. Meow, welcome to the stream. Nobility's in first place. I know. In Division B, 2 teams also left remaining in this competition. The Forest of Flames, JD Whitey's team, a Wood Elf team, they are 4-0-0. And the Harlequins BBFC, BB Nuts team, that's an undead team. They won earlier this afternoon. They are 4-0-1, and that kept them alive in this competition as well. In fact, they set the new minimum bar to make the cut, and that's 12 points. The top team from each of the 3 divisions will advance to the top 4, and then the best second place team between the 3 divisions will be the wildcard entry as well. And so currently that minimum bar is 12 points. And in Division C, Nick Satan Cenozoic Park, the only team to be guaranteed to make the cut. They are 4-0-0. They're a lizard team. And Tizork Savage Boys in second place. Tizzle Bizzle's Orc team 1-4-0 is their record, but unfortunately have been eliminated. And oddly enough, the third place team, Maximum Von Cito, Malik's team, they're a Lizardman team. They are still in this competition. They are 2-0-2, and that's because they have 2 games left to play. They have to play their Week 6 and their Week 7 game, whereas the Tizork Savage Boys only have 1 game left to play here in regulation. The Maximum Von Cito, if they can win both their games, if the Dead Poets do not win, and if the Harlequins lose, then Maximum Von Cito will make the cut. Old Gamer Mike says, is BB Nut already in the Blood Bowl? He is not. No, he is not. We'll take a look at, why don't we take a look at that before we take a look at these 2 teams, in fact. The way our league works is there are 3 open competitions open to anyone who wishes to play, whether they're new to the game, whether they are seasoned game players. The winners of each of those competitions will advance to our 4th and final competition in our season. That is the Blood Bowl. That is an invitational. So far, the White Skull Windbreakers, Cenozoic Park, those 2 teams have advanced to the upper bracket. They won the Chaos Cup and the Spike Magazine Trophy, respectively. The runners-up in each competition, they will advance to the Blood Bowl in the lower bracket. Never Gonna and the Real American Heroes, they are advancing in that lower bracket. The lower bracket has to duke it out, and the winner will advance to the upper bracket with the competition winners to see who will become the season champion in our league. These 2 teams playing tonight have been eliminated, unfortunately, but still going to be a lot of fun. We talk about how each game matters throughout the season, right? Like, even if you're eliminated from a competition, the game still matters because you're trying to earn SPP, you're trying to build your team, you're trying to maybe hurt your opponent's team for later in the season. And now, here we are with these 2 teams. This will be their last game of the season. So you may think to yourself that this game doesn't matter, right? Every season has to start off with fresh teams, with TV 1000 or TV 1 million teams. So these teams can't carry on into Season 5. I certainly hope we see both coaches back for Season 5, but they'll have to have fresh teams. So you may say, well, this game doesn't matter. And I would argue differently, because Blood Bowl is such a tactically rich game, and in league play, such a strategically rich game, that there's lots and lots of stuff that you have to learn, that you have to get good at, that you have to discover, that you have to tinker with. And this game, maybe it doesn't count for the season, right? Maybe it doesn't count tactically or strategically, but it counts for your own development as a coach, right? So this game absolutely matters. It's another game that you get to practice, that you get to try out some stuff, that you get to play around with. So And besides, it's Blood Bowl, right? Blood Bowl is just a lot of fun to a lot of fun to play and watch. So the home team tonight, the Bone Breakers, coached by Galeshi. They're coming to a TV of 1,230,000 gold. They have a full roster of 12 players. They have all 6 Black Orcs, a trained troll, and a bunch of goblins. 1 oppo, 3 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. They're going to be up against the Goodest boys. This is a Necro team coached by Old Gamer Mike. They have 13 players on the roster. They're going to come in at a TV of 1,185,000 gold. They have both flesh golems, both werewolves, 2 wraiths, a ghoul runner, and a bunch of zombos. 1 dedicated fan, just the 2 rerolls. How are the 2 teams going to play tonight? The Necro team, solid out of the gate, right? They have the 2 flesh golems, strength 4, stand firm. That's great. These are great anchor pieces. Strength 4 means your opponent has to dedicate typically 3 players to get the 2-die block and knock them down. And even if they do, they're going to stay put. So pushes really mean nothing against a stand firm player. They can stay where they are. You can build a cage around them. You can also swing a formation around them. The 2 werewolves, the stars of the show with MA8, they have Frenzy and Claw. 1 has the block skill. That's Patty Ryan, number 3. That is a fantastic piece, especially with that block skill. Frenzy means you're getting those 4-die blocks with Claw. You're treating your opponent's AV as 8+. That's going to be a huge advantage against these Black Orcs tonight. The 2 wraiths, they have foul appearance. They have block. They have sidestep. 1 has the guard skill as well. I think that's a great pickup on Jack Goodman. These are harassment pieces, decent speed. They have no hands. They can't pass the ball, but decent sort of blitzers, so to speak, right? Like they can come in, they can take that blitz, they can position themselves in such a way that if your opponent wants to block or blitz them away, they've got to get through that foul appearance roll. And if they fail it, they don't get to take the block, or even more severely, they will lose their blitz. He has the 1 ghoul runner for speed and a bunch of zombies. He ran him into kicker twice. Why not? Why not? You have 2 kickers. Not a problem. But it's great having a kicker, especially in this roster as well, seeing as you have the ghoul runner and the werewolves, MA7 and MA8 respectively. You do have a speed advantage there, and so it could be clutch to really kick that ball where you need it to be. The Bone Breakers, by comparison, have a lot of strength, but they don't really have the skills to make this those blocks safe. He did pick up a lot of guard. Galeshi picked up a lot of guard on the Black Orcs. I think that's great. They have Brawler, which is a poor man's block. A lot of guard means, and Strength 4 means he's going to be looking for those 3-die blocks and trying to murder players. He does have Bruisem Rangy, the sneaky get player. That's a sort of a safe fouler that if you don't break armor and you roll doubles, you will not be called off the pitch. He'll be trying to leverage Bruisem Rangy along with these strength skills, along with Mighty Blow, to really try to get that player advantage early. He does have multi-block on Hairline Fracture. I think multi-block's a difficult skill to use with a Strength 4 player. Much better on a Strength 5 player because you have to reduce your strength by 2. In this case, it would make the multi-block a Strength 2 multi-block. Situationally good. I think in this situation, not that great. So we probably won't see a lot of play out of it. Does have Juggernaut on number 3, which I think is a solid skill. So really going to be trying to be the bashy team in this match and try to remove players. Will not get a whole lot of money in petty cash. I think with being the final game of the season, the Bone Breakers might actually dip into their treasury. And if they dip into their treasury, because they have goblins, they can pick up a 50k bribe, pick up that 50k bribe, lean into Bruisem Rangy, start fouling, right? Start trying to remove these players early, get that player advantage early. That's going to make your strength game even stronger. That'll make it easier to get the 3-die blocks as well. And then you can just sort of snowball that into a huge advantage and try to get the win that way. The other approach that they might take is they're up against a team with just 2 rerolls, and those 2 rerolls means he can try to play a reroll management game, try to force the Goodest boys to spend rerolls that he doesn't want to spend. Once they run out of their rerolls, the odds on all their actions change significantly, and that's a way to get an advantage as well on your opponent, especially in this version of the rules, where you're not restricted to 1 team reroll a turn, but instead 1 team reroll per die pool. Oh, I'm so sorry. Galeshi and O'Gary Mike says, actually, I've got 1 more game. Why are you kicking me out? I'm so sorry. I am so very sorry. This is their last game of the season. Excuse me. No, it's not. I'm still here. I'm still here, guys. Here's the coin toss. Concert says only I'm done. That's true. Goodest boys have won the toss. They're going to choose to kick this ball. Remember, they have 2 kickers. There's no advantage in having 2 kickers other than if you lose one, you still got the other. Random into both. Old Gamer Mike setting up the defense of this Necro team. 3 on the line currently. Man, it feels like an award show where I just started playing them off. They're like, I still have one more game, and the music kicks in. 3 zombies on the line. A lot of people think zombies aren't good pieces. I disagree. Zombies, strength 3 is decent. Edge 4+ is decent. Edge 9+ is decent. MA4 is slow, but they're 40k and they have regen. I think they're great. Goodest boys screening out this Black Orc team currently. When we talk about screening out, what we're saying is they're applying tackle zones in such a way, right? They're applying tackle zones in such a way that they've covered the entire width of the pitch, which means there's no hole for the offense to run through where they won't have to take a dodge unless they block a player down. Three on the defensive line, spread out a space apart. Now 5 on the line for the offense. These Black Orcs, very, very strong. They have the grab skills. Grab is the inverse of sidestep. This is another skill that Galeshi can try to make good use of here and try to pull players out of position. Grab means after you take the block, if they get pushed, you get to decide what adjacent space they're going to move into. So you can think of it as you take the block, you grab them, you pick them up, you put them down somewhere else. So a decent skill to try to reduce the control of the pitch that your opponent might be trying to secure. What's going on here? One back to receive. That's Nosebleed, the level 2 Goblin. Here's the kick. Remember, has that kicker in play. And you can see there, reduced the deviation of the ball down to just 2 spaces. Usually it's a D6. With kick, it's a D6 divided by 2 rounded down, which makes it very, very safe. That means a 1 to 3, it deviates just 1 space. On a 4 or 5, it's 2, and on a 6, it's 3. Great blitz here. Only rolled a 1 on the blitz, but it's going to move all the fastest pieces and trying to apply some early pressure here with Patty Ryan, the MA8 Werewolf over in the left wide zone. Trying to get in on this ball. Sees there's 4 Goblins in the backfield. He's hoping some of these Black Orcs get pulled off the line, try to cover this ball and allow this defense to converge to cover up the whatever pocket forms around the ball and prevent it from moving forward. Fourth move is going to be a 2-die blitz. Gets a push out of this. Well, no. Oh, I was like, oh wait, he's got brawler. No, he doesn't. That's green stick fracture. Brawler lets you re-roll a both down result in the die pool. It's one of the few skills that allow you to roll a single die in the die pool rather than all of them, and so it can be used to great effect, right? If you just roll poorly, right, your whole roll stinks, and you don't have rerolls, or you don't want to spend your team rerolls, you can reroll a brawler die for that. Or if one of your dice is safe, in that situation there was a push and a both down, you know the push is safe, you can reroll the both down, try to get the POW instead. And if that doesn't work out, you just choose the push roll. Turn 1 now for the Bone Breakers. They're going to take a block on the right side of the line. And there you can see, had the choice to use grab there. Decided to push them like normal. 3 die block on Benjamin, the rookie nose tackle. Gets a push out of this. And now a 2 die block on the right defensive end. Also a push here. 3 blocks, 3 pushes, but still has at least 1 block to take and still has the blitz. Decided to pull Alf in rather than pushing forward. Didn't want to give an opposing assist here to number 4. Number 4 marked by the Flesh Golem and by Ted, the number 9 lineman. 2 die block in the left wide zone against that Wraith. Got through that foul appearance roll and got a POW as well. Brad, a blodger on this roster. Blodge is a portmanteau of block and dodge. And really it means only a POW will knock you down unless your opponent has something to negate skills, such as the tackle skill. Tackle negates dodge. The block die, obviously it's a D6. It has, I don't know if it's obvious, but it's a D6. There are 6 faces. There are 6 faces. Of course there's 6 faces. But there are 5 distinct faces. Got to push here against Sergeant McManus. He'll stay put with stand firm. That's what we talked about in the pregame. It's a really good pitch control skill. I've already forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the block die. There are 5 distinct faces, though. There's the POW, or the attacker down. That knocks down the... or not the attacker, defender down. Knocks down the defender. There's a both down that knocks down both players. There's 2 push results. There's a defender stumbles, which acts like a push unless the defender has the dodge skill. I'm sorry, it acts as a knockdown unless the defender has the dodge skill, and then it acts like a push. And then there's the skull, the attacker down. That is when the attacker gets knocked down. So if you have block and dodge, all of those die faces are safe for you when you roll those die, except for the skull, which is very, very strong. Failed dodge here to try to... Boy, oh boy. Failed dodge at the end of the turn to try to cover the ball, and that is it. The 1-turn touchdown by the Goodest boys. Well done by old gamer Mike to get on the board in turn 1 as... I've never seen the... Yes! As the defense. Oh, man. Look at her go. Cheer your heart out. Well deserved. Oh, this is the very best part. Hey! Oh, very well done on the blitz there. On the kickoff blitz, was able to get a Wolf into position to grab the ball. Got it after the failed dodge. Or the failed rush, I think it was. 1-0. Well done by the Goodest boys. Going to use that kick skill again to deviate up 2 places. And now this time we have a high kick. This is going to give the Bone Breakers an opportunity to get a free catch, so to speak, on this ball. They still have to roll for it. But if they fail that pickup, no problem. They would have had to pick it up anyway in a normal drive. So here they get the... they succeed on the catch, and now they'll be able to move with nosebleed and perhaps take another action. Turn 2 for the Bone Breakers after that 1-turn defensive touchdown. Gets the knockdown on the right defensive end here. So really wants to reposition players first before rolling dice, I would say. Because moving players, unless you're dodging, those are free, right? Those are safe. There's no die rolls to make, so you don't risk a turnover by repositioning players first. But by rolling dice, you do risk a turnover, which means you won't be able to reposition your players, and then you could find yourself in trouble. Also risky to take a block with say, a big guy early in the turn. Big guys tend to be loners, and if they fail a die roll, especially this trained troll does not have the block skill, because that can be risky. Even if it's a 2-die block, that can be risky. And so if they take a block early in the turn and fail that die roll, they might not get a chance to spend to use the reroll. They'll spend it, and then they have to pass a 4+ loner roll. And if they don't pass that roll, that's it. The roll will fail. You will have lost a reroll, and it'll be an early turnover. As you can see, Galeshi repositioning players here to try to keep this ball safe. 2 goblins on the left corner of the cage. Remember, these goblins are stunty and strength 2, also with an AV of 8, so they're frail and they're weak. 2-die block with the number 2 Black Orc. Yeah, reroll. Yeah, that's good. Good use of Brawler there. It's had the push, had the both down result. Said, I'm going to fish for that pal. Didn't get the pal, but that's fine because the push was safe. Very good use of the skill. 3-die block now with the troll, gets a pal. 8+ breaks armor with the troll, and there it is. Got the armor break. Got a stun out of it. Troll with Mighty Blow. Bonebreaker's on the bonus clock now. 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go. You get 7 minutes, 30 seconds for the duration of the game. Again with a push and a both down. And again, great use of Brawler to fish for that pal. Got it this time. 9+ to break armor. 9+ average armor in the game of Blood Bowl. You get 7 minutes, 30 seconds of bonus time for the duration of the game. We're getting close to our top 4. 7 weeks of regulation in the Dungeonbowl. After week 7, we have 4 players left in a single elimination bracket. Though, while regulation can end in a draw, top 4 obviously cannot. And so those games might go into overtime. It's important to note that 7-minute, 30-second timer lasts for the whole game, whether there's overtime or not. So if you go into overtime spending that whole bonus clock, you will not have any time left in the bonus clock for overtime. Took a blitz on Patty Ryan. Only got a push out of it. Is now marking Brad, the number 6 Wraith. Those werewolves, very, very important pieces on a Necro team. Very fast, really good pieces. They're also costed accordingly, 120k. Got the removal here. Well done. 1-man player advantage now for the Bonebreakers. Good foul. We talked about Bruise and Rangy there, the sneaky get. If that armor, when you roll dice during a foul, if any of those die rolls are doubles, you get called off the pitch. Sneaky get means that if you don't break armor, it doesn't matter whether you roll doubles or not. You will not get called off. Sneaky get, often the very first skill you'll pick up on a fouler piece. And then you'll pick up Dirty Player. Dirty Player +1 will give you a +1 to your armor or your injury roll on a foul. It's Mighty Blow for fouling. Sneaky Get plus Dirty Player, a fantastic combination to just foul players off the pitch. Goodest boys trying to determine how they want their formation to be set up here for turn 2. The ball is currently on the opposing 10-yard line. 2-die block against Green Stick Fracture will be a knockdown. Rocking the wood dice. Frenzy Blitz. 2-die blitz. That'll work out due to the block skill. Well done. Got a good armor break here and has plenty. Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought he had 2 more spaces of movement, but I clearly miscounted. There's no more movement left unless he rushes with Patty Ryan. Patty Ryan in a good shape to sort of lock off the left sideline here. With Frenzy, if you're first block that you take on a block or a blitz, if that is a push, you must follow up and take a second block. Very important to understand how that skill works, because newer players of the game will often find themselves taking an uphill follow-up block. That can be a problem. If you can navigate those waters and start to understand how to set it up where you're getting 2-die blocks, or maybe even 2-3-die blocks, then you can make really good use of it, because you're rolling more dice to try to ensure you're knocking pieces down. It also shuts down the sidelines, right? Because Frenzy with 2 blocks, right? If there was a player here, Patty Ryan could just block, and that's a surf. Another problem that newer coaches will find themselves in with a Frenzy is if you've run so on a blitz action, when you take that block, it costs a point of MA. So if you blitz with a Frenzy player and you've run out of MA, right? Remember, you have to follow up on that push. And if you have no MA left, that second block means you will have to rush. So you'll have to roll a die on rush. You have to be really careful of that. You'll see a lot of players will often end up having to take 2 rush blocks because of that. Good knockdown on Jack Goodman. Jack Goodman with an AV of 9+. You would think a sheet and a clothesline would have weaker armor value, but who knew? So I guess that means canonically, a sheet and a clothesline is better armor than goblin armor. Is better armor than the entirety of the wood elf race. Gets a knockdown on max over in the right wide zone. Ball's going to advance to the Bonebreakers' own 4-yard line. They're going to set up a faux cage here. Turn 3 now for the Goodest boys. Two-die block with the number 6 Wraith. Gets a knockdown. Defense just knocking down pieces. This Bashy team, especially with all this guard, they tend to want to stay grouped up. That way they can leverage guard, get more dice on their blocks, especially with not having the block skill on really anyone. Flesh Golem comes in to take a mark on Spiral Fracture 2. So it's a 2-die block with Patty Ryan with a potential 4 dice. Fails the 3+ dodge over on at center pitch. Will spend a reroll here on the blitz. 2-die blitz on the ball carrier. Got the pal, broke the armor, got the injury. Well done. The ball bounces across the line of scrimmage to the opposing 2-yard line. Still has plenty of movement left with the werewolf, but doesn't want to dodge away. 3+ pickup, got it in the hands of Chris, the number 7 rookie ghoul runner. And now the Goodest boys, once again, their defense in possession of this ball. Recovered the ball, got 2 SPP and a removal out of it as well. Well done by the Goodest boys. Follow-up block. I thought I had somebody in here to get the other assist. I suppose not. One die block on number 5 gets a knockdown here. Kicker on the block needs a 10+ to break armor. Doesn't get it. That Black Orc very injured with a broken arm. Doesn't matter so much. You're not going to be passing with the Black Orcs, but it does have the serious injury, which means injury rolls are going to be a +1. Turn 4 now for the Bone Breakers. They've lost position of the ball once more. Might very well see a block on David Kessler and then a blitz on the ball carrier. There it is. Block on David Kessler. That's enough for the knockdown. That opens up the blitz by number 2 on the ball carrier. But even if you get this ball out of the hands of the ball carrier, you have to figure out how to recover it. Here comes 2-die blitz. Both down result. He'll spend the reroll. Doesn't want to risk the brawler single die block there. I think that was a good call. Now it'll have to be a push on number 7. Can't reroll a die pool more than once. Wanted to reroll both to get the knockdown. Didn't get it. Instead, we'll push the ball carrier back. That's the blitz spent. And now I'll push on Alf. So we'll probably see Bruise and Rangy come up and... in fact, we'll probably... a wager. Anyway, we'll see a mark here. We'll see a mark here. Or a mark here and a mark here. Something like that. Pushing this defense out of the drive, trying to get them off the ball carrier so that they can't group up, they can't get the assist, they can't block that carrier free. Nope. Looks like he's going to go for the foul on the werewolf instead. Fair enough. 2 assists on this foul. Broke armor, got a stun out of it. So now, final turn of the first quarter coming up. Turn 4 for the Goodest boys. They have 1 reroll remaining. They have a positive dodge with the Ghoul Runner. It's a 3+ dodge with the reroll, and there it is. And they'll reposition this ball over into the left wide zone. They'll try to cage this ball up here, or at least secure it. Set up a pocket right on the edge of the wide zone. So here's where it's really valuable to just mark a bunch of these players, right? So Edge 4, that's a 50-50 dodge, right? That's a coin flip on a positive dodge. So if you can just mark these players, you can really keep them out of the drive unless the blitz gets spent. And so it's your job to ensure that your opponent doesn't want to waste the blitz over here. If he does waste the blitz over here, you can say, okay, well then he's not going to blitz any of my players this way. But really, you don't want to give him advantageous options. So by tying up the orcs in such a way that really they're just going to stay out of the drive unless he spends his blitz, especially with the speed advantage, it's a very good way to get away from the opposition and get that ball into the end zone without having to worry about the full might of the team bearing down on you. 1 die block on Green Stick Fracture gets a push. You'll often see against, say, a Lizard team with the Sarses, they have an agility score of a 5+. They don't want to dodge anywhere. So on key turns in a drive, you'll see these Sarses deliberately tied up by opposing players so that they just can't get in on the ball without making a super, super risky move. Goodest boys back on the bonus block here. They're going to get a knockout on Oblique Fracture over in the right wide zone. Set up for a potential surf in the future. Oblique Fracture will probably try to dodge off that sideline. Whether they succeed on the dodge or not, at least that'll reposition them to try to get back in the drive in the future turn. But they'll save that for the end of their turn. And now another foul coming up. This time against the Gabo. Gets a stun out of it. tried to get rid of the fouler here by fouling with Ted the kicker. Got a stun. Second quarter begins. The Bone Breakers, they're on offense, but they've lost the ball for the second time here in this half. They need to recover and get on the board. The Goodest boys will be on offense to start the second half. They really don't want to go into the second half down a touchdown. They certainly don't want to go into the second half down by 2. Good knockdown on Sergeant McManus, the Flesh Golem, just ahead of the ball carrier. Bone Breakers looking to see if they have an avenue at this ball. Not sure they do, but they can certainly get in front of the run. Brawlers to both down into a knockdown on Patty Ryan. Two die on Ted. The level 2 zombie lineman gets a push here. Gets the 2 die on the rookie lineman, Alf, my player. This isn't literally my player, but I do have an Alf. Got the injury. Well done. 2-man player advantage, or 1-man player advantage for the Bone Breakers now. 2 removals. .13 seconds left on the clock for the Bone Breakers. Taking a lot of blocks, but aren't applying a lot of pressure to the ball. Good 3+ dodge into a rush. Gets in front of the ball carrier, takes one more rush to take a mark on the right side. Gonna go for the 1-die blitz. Got the pal on the goal. Can he get an 8+ out of this? Can't get the armor break. The armor break would have been huge. The ball's gonna scatter one space backwards to the opposing 10-yard line. Has 2 rushes left with this goblin. We'll see if he takes a rush. Doesn't chance the rush. 2-die block back at the line of scrimmage. Will be a knockdown on Max, the lineman. That knockdown's going to give Max 1 effective MA this upcoming turn. Turn 5 now for the Goodest boys. Sergeant McManus stands up, tying up that strength 4 blackwork spiral fracture. A little over a minute to go here in the turn. Old Gamer Mike really thinking about this turn. Oh man, I keep forgetting I've got his name wrong. I gotta make a note. I keep forgetting there's 2 G's in there. I'm gonna see if I can change this here while he decides on his turn. Let's see. Two-die blitz, 2 rushes, or a dodge and a rush rather. Sidestep push out of this. We'll have to follow up into another rush block. This is what we talked about. 1-die rush, and that's going to be a push result. We'll have to follow up here as well. Pushes onto the ball. The ball bounces in the hands of Patty Ryan. And then it's gonna bounce to the 10, just one space to the left. There we go. Got his name updated in the database, so now I won't forget. 4+ dodge into the pickup. Good pickup here by Chris, the Ghoul Runner. And then... oh, then tried to dodge away, slipped and fell. I mean, you don't want to fall on this pitch. This does not look safe. Slipped and fell on the dodge and injured the Ghoul Runner. The Ghoul Runner out for the game. Another removal here by the Troll. Well done. Good use of Mighty Blow here by Galeshi. Galeshi now with a contingent around the ball. It's going to try to score in turn 8. Two-die block on Brad. Gets a pow out of this. Good knockdown to reduce that MA in half. Gets a push on Ted. Ted, the zombie lineman with an MA of 4. It's all right to push him back because each space, that's a quarter of the movement that you're increasing, right? For Ted, if Ted wants to get to a particular space and only has 4 MA, now has to spend one more space of movement to get there. Three plus pickup needs to re-roll this because it could go out of bounds. We'll see what happens. Does re-roll it. Good re-roll. Gets the ball down pitch to the opposing 14-yard line now. So the Bonebreakers finally able to recover this ball, trying to keep it safe. They've done a good job of pushing the defense off to the opposing side of the offensive contingent and the ball carrier. So the defense has to get through a number of tackle zones to really get at this ball carrier. Turn 6 now for the Goodest boys. Galeshi absolutely has to get on the board at the end of this half. They do not want to go into the second half down a touchdown and then also have to be on defense. If the Goodest boys can find a way to pressure this score into turn 7, they might have an opportunity to get another touchdown out of this. Not sure how they'd make it work, though. Bonebreakers have done a real good job with their positioning. Maybe knocks down Bruise 'em Rangy and then jumps if need be. Let's see. Spends the final re-roll here. Can't have the both down result. Breaks armor on the Fowler. Got a KO out of it. Has to follow up due to Frenzy. And now if he wants to get away, it's going to be a 3+ dodge. Yep, didn't work out. I think maybe the block by Ted and then Brad. Oh, Yeah, I think Brad... I don't know. I don't know, because Brad's still marked. It's tricky. But this is going to give the Bro-Breakers an opportunity to stall this out for the turn. They'll score on turn 8. And they'll end up tying this game to go into the second half. Remember, the Goodest boys will be on offense to start the second half, which gives them an advantage. Goodest boys will still have one turn left in this half to try to get on the board. And with any luck, they'll get a timeout and they'll get a second turn out of it. Otherwise, if they have a one-turn setup, they could try to make that happen. I'm not sure what that would be. They have 8 MA on the Wolves with 2 rushes. That's 10 points of movement. There's 13 spaces between the line of scrimmage and the end zone. They'd need to find a way to get 3 pushes on that werewolf. 3 forward pushes, that is, in order to score in one turn. Also tougher to do without the rerolls. Dude, I stand up blitz on the number 1 flesh golem over in the right wide zone. Gets a push out of it. Turn 7 for the Goodest boys. No need to take any risks here. They can't get at the ball carrier, so it's just about taking blocks, getting a player advantage, maybe getting some SPP as well. And just making sure you have the players safe that you need safe for the next 2 drives. We're going to have the final drive of the first quarter and then the beginning of the second half. Gets the assist for the 2-die block against hairline fracture. Gets a push out of this. Can't even get a 1-die out of the flesh golem in the right wide zone. Well, can now after the 3+ dodge. So that's going to be a 2-die block on number 5, since number 3 didn't have the guard skill, but rolled double skulls out of that. Got knocked out. It's not going to matter. Turn 8 now for the Bone Breakers with no rerolls left. They're absolutely just going to march this ball into the end zone, tie the game, and that'll leave 1 turn left in the first quarter for the Goodest boys to try to make something work in that turn. There's the score. Well done. 1-1 to score now. 1 turn left in the first half. The Goodest boys have an opportunity here. Try to get on the board, especially if there's a timeout. They'll give them 2 turns. Remember, the werewolves are MA8, very, very fast pieces. Today, so they only have the 1 because they didn't get back the KO on the other one. So David Kessler will be the only werewolf starting for this final turn of the first half. On the pitch for the defense. They're giving up those wide zones here. They're going to have to be really, really careful. What the offense could do is they could just try to keep these black orcs out of the drive get the ball in the hands of the werewolf and just take off like the wind. But that's going to rely on a timeout. The werewolf will not be back to receive. That werewolf's going to be put all the way up on the line to maximize that forward movement. Or should I say minimize the amount of distance between the werewolf and the end zone. Goodest boys really hoping for sure hands at this point. They have no rerolls to go into this final turn. Ten v 10 on the pitch. They'll need a halfback. They'll need somebody to receive and a halfback. Very tricky. Oh, boy. I don't think they have anybody better, though. Yeah. Very tricky on these linemen. They only have an MA of 4, and they have an edge of 4+. So, not a likely scenario to get this ball into the end zone, but we'll see what happens. The Bone Breakers do not have a kicker. So, this ball could very well end up at center pitch, or even near the werewolf. If I were the Bone Breakers, I'd say, okay, well, the ball's going in that right wide zone. And that's exactly what he did. Shallow kick, but and Benjamin, the intended kickoff return player, was stunned by the officious ref, but that's not going to matter here because the Goodest boys are 1, 2, 3, 4 rush. Ooh. They're still in position. Trying to go after this ball. Wah! Oh, he didn't get the timeout. I was like, what are you doing? So it's not going to matter. He'll still try to pick this ball up and pass it at some point. So Rotgob, the Toothache, gets to reposition for the 1-die block now, but it's still a POW. 8+ to break armor. Claw not in play against the Goblins. They already have an AV of 8+. Doesn't get anything out of the blitz. Good opportunity there. Good effort to spot the unsafe goblin and going for the blitz. The weaker AV players, the weaker strength players, they're easy targets because they're much easier to remove than other players. And a removal's a removal, right? If your opponent goes down a player, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does, but a loss is a loss. So even if it's a snotling, even if it's a goblin, they remove that piece, they're that much weaker. Getting the assist on that troll. Currently 1 die on the assist. Or 1 die on the block, I should say. And they only get a push out of this. $20 seconds left in the first half. Oh no, went for the pickup, but didn't declare the pass. Oh, he did declare a pass. Okay. Didn't get the SPP, but good presence of mind by Old Gamer Mike there to try to get a point of SPP at the end of the half. 1-1's the score. The Goodest boys will be on offense to start the second half. Great one-turn defensive touchdown by the Goodest boys to get on the board early. Bone Breakers were able to recover. Almost looked like the Goodest boys were going to go up 2-0 in the first half, and that would have been a death knell for the Bone Breakers, but they were able to recover and get on the board. Now it's a tie ball game. The Bone Breakers' job now is to try to crack open whatever pocket or cage will form around this ball and recover it. Thankfully for the Bone Breakers, the second werewolf again did not recover from the KO, so just 1 werewolf for the Goodest boys here on offense. That is huge for the Bone Breakers because that's just one of those two Frenzy Claw MA8 players that he has to deal with. The two Wraiths don't have hands. The Flesh Golems and the Zombies all MA4. So big target on the back of David Kessler. Deep kick here by the Goodest boys. The Bone Breakers on the quick snap get to reposition. I don't know what this means. Some number of players, one space here before the ball lands. So I was hoping this ball goes out of bounds here. It moves David Kessler forward a space. There's a 3/8 chance that the ball is going to bounce out of bounds. And it did. It did. Good gamble here by the Goodest boys. So they put the ball in the hands of David Kessler, the fastest player on the pitch. Turn 9 for the Goodest boys. 2 rerolls for the game. They're going to start with a Wraith Blitz. 2-die Blitz. They get a dodge push against Rotgob the Toothache. Again, hunting those goblins. Galeshi left those goblins right in the same position, so the Blitz was inevitable on one of those secondary goblins. Looks like it's going to, the Goodest boys are going to try to carve out the left wide zone here. They can get up to the opposing 4. It looks like they might get up to the opposing 2. If they do, it's really aggressive movement here on turn 1. Oh, it might try to rush. Nope, no rush. So they'll fill in the back corner here as well. And now 2-die block on the line. Good action order by Old Gamer Mike here. Went for the Blitz first. That's fine. And then repositioned all the other players to get this protective screen on the ball carrier here in the left wide zone. Now, being in the left wide zone like this, right, with this... the screen is fine for a turn, but can quickly break down. That means he knows he's going to be safe for a turn, might need to dodge on the next turn, but really this is betraying the fact that he might score early here. And so Galeshi might lean into that fact, try to force it, and then come back and try to draw. Now, winning's always better than a draw. Good knockdown here on the Wraith. Wraith regens, though. A good knockdown, bad knockdown on the Wraith. So the Goodest boys seeming like they're going to score quickly. Now, they could just try to break away and stall in the end zone, but what this means is the Bone Breakers, really the momentum has kind of shifted in their favor now. So they can try to force this score in a turn or two. But, you know, if they do that, they're playing for the draw. Otherwise, they can try to stop this offense dead in its tracks. And to do that, they're going to have to cover here, they're going to have to cover here, but they're also going to have to cover this corner, which is easily overlooked when you're talking about like square spaces as opposed to, say, hexagonal spaces. Because it's not so obvious when a corner is not covered. And that's just simply due to the nature of squares, right? These diagonals are physically longer than the orthogonal distances. And so to the eye, it just looks like you have full coverage. And then you're like, oh, wait, I've given him a positive dodge out of the corner. That's unfortunate. Two-die blitz on nice biscuits. Gets a 9+ out of this. Gets a mark on the ball carrier, so that's the dodge we were referring to in the previous turn. Could also be set up to be a blitz. But if it's a blitz, it's going to be 1 point of movement forward lost. Bonebreaker's back on the bonus clock here in turn 9. 4 minutes, 11 seconds left. Got through the foul appearance roll on the uphill block with Rockob the Toothache. You got a push out of this, but Brad is a sidestepper, so Brad gets to decide what space he's going to move into. Any open adjacent space is eligible. Necro Cheerleader is marvelous. All right, turn time for the Goodest boys. So 3+ dodge with David Kessler currently. Might try to save the blitz for Brad. Otherwise, Brad has a negative dodge trying to cover the werewolf. Brad Goodest will be a key piece here. Brad is a key player on the protection on the ball. Foul appearance might be it just takes the block though. So Brad's not going to come back and take the assist. Brad, if he came back to, or not the assist, but to protect the ball. If Brad came back to protect the ball, foul appearance could have come in clutch. Spends a reroll here after the both down and the skull to get a push out of this. It'll be a sidestep by Ratcop the Toothache. He will sidestep toward where the play is going. And that gives Ratcop a positive dodge out on the upcoming turn. It'll be a 3+ dodge. Currently, anyway. So there's the 3+ dodge on the blitz. He did take the blitz, got the power on Old Crud the Osteoarthritic, took the blitz this way so he'll follow up and not lose that point of MA. Very lucky to get the POW here. Great armor break as well. So decides to move back to center pitch. Ooh. Moves back to center pitch. That's going to give the Bonebreaker some options here to try to mark this ball player. Took this blitz before doing anything with Joseph the lineman. Joseph freed up back here. Could have repositioned first for free. I think the mark with Max. Well, he might try to dodge Max. Get Max to mark, say, spiral fracture. So rushes. Oh boy. Rushes to take a mark on spiral fracture, but is now marked by 2 goblins as well. Yeah, there's that foul. I don't think it's worth spinning the reroll, and looks like Old Gamer or Galeshi agrees. I'm sorry, Old Gamer Mike agrees. Max going to remain prone. The Bonebreaker's now on turn 10. If they want to win this game, they really need to find a way to stop this score. Otherwise, they're playing for a draw almost certainly. But there's plenty of time left in the half, so they could still win it, even if the Goodest boys score. Oh, he's gonna brawler this. Wow, look at that. Taunting Nuffle. Got the POW. Electing to hold on to the reroll and spent brawler instead. Yeah, 2-die block on Joseph, who rushed into position. Double POWs here means it's a 9+ to break armor, and there's the armor break. Got a stun. Well, double POWs doesn't mean it's a 9+ to break armor. Double POWs means it's a knockdown, and now an armor roll. Taking the 2-die blocks here. Got a POW on Nice Biscuits. Used to play for the Deadly Biscuits. Now playing for the Goodest Boys. Necro and Undead teams have a Necromancer on staff where when they kill players, they can resurrect them as zombies to play for their team. Joe moves forward. It's made no effort to go after this ball. He needs to make some effort or else the Goodest Boys are probably going to stall for another turn. All right, there's the mark. Takes the mark with Bruisem Rangy. Is he going to try a 1-die blitz here? He is going to try the 1-die blitz. 1-die blitz. I might take the both down, but we'll see what he does. He's going to take the both down. Yeah, he'll take it. And it's somehow a good trade to boot. Took the both down result to knock the ball out of the hands of the werewolf. Had an 88+ on the goblin, 9+ on the werewolf, and yet the werewolf is the one that's stunned. Real good outcome there for the Bone Breakers. Yeah, I would have taken the both down as well. I wouldn't have thought this would be the outcome. Now a 2-die blitz on Bruisem Rangy gets a push out of this. Decides not to follow up. Still has 2 points of movement left with Brad, but remember, Brad can't go after the ball. Brad has no hands. Sorry, Brad. It doesn't mean that a player with no hands can't go into the space with the ball. It's just they will automatically fumble the ball. The ball will bounce. Failed Zombo dodge means it's turn 11 now for the Bone Breakers. Damn it, Brad. So the Bone Breakers with that great stun on the werewolf, and now they're going to be able to apply pressure and try to stop the score. This is their opportunity now to try to recover this ball and win this ball game. They're going to have to deal with number 6, Brad. And here it is. Got through that foul appearance roll. 2-die blitz. He'll take the dodge push. That's fine. This clears the ball. Now it's a 3+ pickup. Stands up old crud, the osteoarthritic over in the left wide zone. Is he going to... Alright, he's going to take a mark on Brad. Where's he going to try to move with this ball? Probably back to center. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to try to end up with this ball. I notice as I commentate, I do this, and then I do this. And I need to stop swaying. Failed the pickup, needs to re-roll this. Good re-roll. Failed the rush. And we'll lose another reroll here. And the Bone Breakers went from 3 rerolls to just 1 for the game. They have recovered the ball. They're on their own 18-yard line now. Oh, gonna have to brawler this one. Yeah, got the pow out of it. Well done. And an armor break. Big armor break on the Flesh Golem. Gets a pow on Ted, the level 2 lineman. One of the 2 kickers. And now both kickers are prone. Under 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the bonus block here for the Bone Breakers. They're going to get a pow on the second Flesh Golem as well. He's way back on the line of scrimmage. And then a push on Nice Biscuits. The push is fine. He's going to grab him onto the sideline to try to set up for the surf. Nice Biscuits almost certainly going to dodge away unless he really needs that mark on the black work to keep that black work from moving. Turn 12 now for the Goodest boys. Goodest boys with just 1 reroll remaining. Tie ball game. They were very close to scoring, but left the werewolf exposed when they moved back to center pitch. Probably would have been a lot more safe here in the left wide zone if they kept the werewolf here. But gave a blackwork near the line of scrimmage an opportunity to come in on the werewolf, tag the werewolf, ended up getting a blitz on the werewolf, and now the Bone Breakers have recovered the ball. One minute, 10 seconds left in the turn for the Goodest boys. Not a lot of speed on the roster, unfortunately, with just the 1 werewolf. This is a big hindrance to the roster. And they moved the werewolf way back. Didn't want to try to dodge through this gauntlet to get at the ball. Didn't want to move backwards to try to get behind the ball carrier, which was also an option. Double skulls on the uphill block will just let that rock. That's going to be a turnover. And now the Bone Breakers will be able to advance. They'll have a good opportunity here to try to set up a decent cage with the ball and start moving it down pitch. Turn 12, final turn of the 3rd quarter. The Bone Breakers also with 1 reroll remaining. So they have 2 free, they have 1 free player here in Transverse Fracture, but they'll be able to blitz another player away. Whether that's going to be Hairline Fracture or Oblique Fracture remains to be seen. And we'll probably see a Gobbo dodge with Rot Gob. 3-die block on Brad by the Troll to start the turn. Got a push out of this, but Brad is a sidestepper. And he will sidestep onto the ball. Risky first block, I think. It was a 3-die block. The Troll doesn't have the block skill, and the Troll is a loner. Had to get through the foul appearance roll, and again now has to take the block a second time, which meant again had to get through the foul appearance roll. And then had to get the knockdown. Brad now choosing not to stay on the ball carrier on the knockdown. Wants to get pushed back towards center pitch. And that means Oldcrud the Osteoarthritic will no longer be advancing with Bruce and Rangy. Bruce and Rangy now might need to think on his feet quickly here as to where he can be safe. Might try to retreat. Rush blitz into a pow on David Kessler, the werewolf, looking for a 9+. Can't get it. Another 2-die on Max gets a knockdown here as well. Yeah, probably grabs him out of the way and follows up to set up this would-be cage. Rot Gob can move in. The ball can... Yeah. Oh, took the block before moving Rot Gob. Taking blocks has not moved free players. You have spent the reroll. That'll be a spent the brawler skill rather to reroll 1 die. Got a push out of this. Oh, he wants to foul with Rotgob. All right. Takes the foul with Rotgob. Doesn't get anything out of it. Really wanted to take David Kessler out of this drive. Now takes a 1 die against Sergeant McManus. And that will be a stand firm, stay put situation. Turn 13 for the Goodest boys now. So the Goodest boys, Brad has a 3+ dodge to a potential 2-die blitz. It would be a rush blitz. So didn't declare the blitz with Brad. So Brad's going to stand up and stay marking the troll, it looks like. A lot of the Goodest boys now are in real danger of finding themselves on the opposite side of the ball. If they can't get in on this ball, the situation is going to be the ball's going to be down here somewhere, and this is where the offensive line is going to be. All the other players, right, find themselves on the opposite side of that line. So dodges the werewolf away to try to stay ahead of the ball. Takes a 1-die block. It's going to be a both down result. That's a turnover. So now the Bone Breakers here in pretty good shape. I'd move him here. That's because the ball's going to be almost certainly be moving in that direction. There's a very strong line over in the left wide zone. Finally fails a really stupid roll on the troll. The troll's just going to stare off into space. I don't think that's the biggest loss in the world. Takes a 2-die block on Joseph, gets a push here. Taking these blocks before moving players, this is really scary, right? Because these players have a big lane to move through. He can get this ball down pitch and get a couple of black orcs and a goblin, or at least one black orc and a goblin down pitch as well. But it's taking the blocks first, which means he could fail these die rolls. This frees up Spiral Fracture. Moves the ball straight down pitch, so is now on the Bone Breaker's own 2-yard line. And now rush blitz on the werewolf. Got the POW. Wow. Going in on the blitz, he needed that knockout. He got it. Well done. Rotgob needs to come in and cover the ball carrier as well. And then probably... Oh, he's going to foul with Rotgob. Ooh, he's trying to take out the werewolf. What assist? Didn't get it. Didn't get it. It was an 8+ to break armor with the assist, but did not get called off the pitch. And now a 2-die with transverse fracture gets a POW on Ted. Grabs Ted. One space to the left. Probably see a dodge here with Old Crud the Osteoarthritic, I think. Still needs to stand up Max as well. Oh, Max is on the wrong team. Yeah, there's the dodge with Old Crud. Dodged him the long way around here. Rather than coming in for assist this way. He wouldn't assist this. Well, maybe he would have. But shot him around back to center pitch. Turn 14 now for the Goodest boys. Probably try to block down number 3, get the assist on the 2 for the werewolf dodge blitz. Maybe. No, because the black work. Well. One die block on oblique fracture gets a POW out of this. So there's a lane. Well, it's not a lane. Would have been a lane if oblique fracture was pushed here. So instead of Joseph coming in on the ball, is going to move backwards for the assist. Gets a POW on hairline fracture. Breaks armor. Good injury here. 2 SPP out of this. Injury on the multi-block Black Orc. Again, multi-block a tough skill to use on strength 4 player. You have to reduce your strength by 2 in order to use it. That brings it down to a strength of 2. Much better on a strength 5 player, I think, where you can go down to a strength, sort of a normal or a nominal strength of 3. And the werewolf continuing to dodge away and just stay in front of the ball. But this means that the Black Orc team is going to be able to really get some protection on. They haven't for the past 2 turns. So maybe they'll continue to kind of be loose with the ball carrier's contingent here. We'll see what happens. But now they have 4 free players to just set up a cage with Bruisem Rangy. And the rest of the Necro team finds itself really out of the drive here. So not setting up the tight cage, instead just it's going to get some tackle zones around the ball carrier. It's a pretty good protection from the werewolf on the ball carrier. And really nobody who can back up the werewolf. Was it always an underscore here on stand up? That looks like a database key or something, or like a JSON key. Troll's really stupid once again. Doesn't really know what's going on. Is all by himself. Doesn't have an ally to get through that really stupid really stupid roll. So those are 4 pluses instead of 2 pluses now. And now finally fails the foul appearance roll. So that block is lost on Brad. Transverse fracture tried to block, failed the foul appearance roll. Was so disgusted by Brad. Sorry, Brad, which is kind of gross. He decided not to block after all. Now 2-die block on transverse fracture by the flesh golem will be a push. One point of MA with Sergeant McManus. Doesn't want to rush with him. 1 minute, 9 seconds left on the clock. Ball is in scoring position, but without pressure, the Bonebreakers are not going to risk the rush. They'll easily be able to stall this out next turn. Now the blitz, now the pressure applied, trying to dodge blitz on the ball carrier. They're going to go for it. There's the reroll. 2-die blitz gets a push. Here's the rush follow-up. 2-die follow-up. Oh no, it was double rushes. Oh no. So what happened is we talked about the case of a single rush being forced on you with these frenzy players. Remember, on a blitz you have to spend an MA to block, and with frenzy you have to follow up and block again. That means that second block also eats up a point of MA. If that is a second rush or a first rush, you will have to make the rush roll. You are required to. But if you've already rushed twice, you can't take the second block. You don't have any MA to be able to do it. So went for it here, spent the reroll, but only got a push on Bruise and Rangy. But breaks armor on the Black Orc. Turn 15 for the Bone Breakers. The first order of business will be to block or blitz David Kessler. Probably going to take the blitz with a Brawler. 3 assists right now on David Kessler. So that's a 3-die blitz. Got the POW. Got the POW. 9+ breaks armor. Push him into the right wide zone, which means the ball carrier will move to the left. Great armor break here by the Bone Breakers. That effectively takes David Kessler out of the game. And now Bruise and Rangy can easily stall this out for a turn. Great armor break by the Bone Breakers. Nobody can get to the ball carrier. The Bone Breakers going to win this one 2-1. And now it's about SPP. Well done by Galeshi and the Bone Breakers. Situation looked a little grim there at the beginning of the game when the Goodest boys scored that one-turn defensive touchdown against the Bone Breakers. Almost did it a second time, but the Bone Breakers were able to recover and get on the board. They absolutely had to get on the board at the end of the first half in order to not be really playing for the draw. And then here they were on defense. They were able to take a shot. Really, I think it all went downhill. With a Werewolf with the ball moved out here. That left him open to the Black Orc rush mark rather than, say, going here where he would have been safe. Kaleshi saw the opportunity, took advantage of it, was able to recover this ball, and now they're going to win this ball game. Yeah, that's true, and not getting back that werewolf really hurt the Goodest boys. Werewolves are a pivotal piece on a necromantic horror team. They're really, really good, and losing one really hurts. Three-die blitz by Sergeant McManus. Gets a dodge push against the old crud, the osteoarthritic. That's the blitz spent. Has a one-die block with Ted. I don't know if he'll take it or not. Took the one die took the one die with Ted. Got the POW. And broke armor. Oh, thought he might have got a Kaz there, but, well, I guess if it was a Kaz, we would have seen the overlay. Final turn of this ball game. The Bonebreakers have one reroll. Are they going to risk die rolls, or are they just going to win this game? We'll see. I know what I would do. I would just score. Especially with not having any block on the roster. Bonebreakers, Galeshi is probably looking at the pitch, seeing what they can do. Oh, showboats the ball into the end zone. 2-1 the final. The Bonebreakers win this one. Congratulations to Galeshi. That was a lot of fun. There it is, 2-1, the final of this game. And there it is, the Bonebreakers pick up their second win in this competition. Congratulations to Galeshi. And it was a lot of fun, well played by both coaches, a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, you know, Blood Bowl's a game we talk about all the time. How it's a game with a lot of agency, and one wrong move can cost you a game. I think we've all been there, and it's tough, right? Because you know, it is, sure, you can get diced, but more often than not, you're getting punished for mistakes you make. But then, and every coach, almost every game, will make a mistake, and it's up to the opposing coach to exploit that mistake, capitalize on it, and then it's up to the error, the coach that made the error, to recognize it and have a contingency in place. That's what makes this game so interesting, right? Because there's just so much agency. There's so many decisions to make while you're on the clock, and figuring out the best way to approach things through such a mix, a diverse cast of players, right? And races and different types of units and secret weapons and all sorts of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love this game. Yeah, Galeshi says, Ava, at the start you were talking like it's our last game. Did I ever get resolved? You do have one more game. I made fun of myself for missing that. Old Gamer Mike says, was fun. Perhaps next day I'll get my first win. Don't worry about it. Just like, honestly, like, you know, we've all been there, and just by playing, you're getting better. I talk about this a lot too. Like, you know, we have a ton of coaches, right? Where in the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of their career, really, maybe they didn't have a great competition, maybe they didn't have a great season, and then they turn it around game after game, and it's just so fun to watch. It's one of my favorite things, not just with Blood Bowl, but just games in general. Watching players adapt and learn and get better, and like, honestly, just kind of beat you up, right? Like, I love it when I play a game and then someone does a thing that I was like, oh man, I can't believe you did that. it's really cool. All right, let's take a look at the schedule before we leave. There we go. There's the schedule. Coming up next, we have a doubleheader tomorrow night, Sunday, September 15th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's UTC -4. And that's going to be, first up, it's going to be Forest of Flames versus Subductus Super Kilocopters. JD Whitey versus Berserker Tempest. Wood Elves versus Underworld. Forest of Flames competing for a spot in the top 4. Subductus has been eliminated. And then following that at 8 o'clock p.m. tomorrow night, we have Nothing to See Here versus the Real American Heroes. Clypheus versus Dead Fred. That's Chaos Chosen versus Dark Elves. Both those teams have been eliminated as well. On Monday, September 16th at 10 o'clock p.m., we have Street Fighters Turbo Max versus Cenozoic Park. Ian versus Nick Satan. Chaos Renegades versus Lizards. Cenozoic Park guaranteed to make the cut. So they're looking for an undefeated streak here in this competition. We'll see if they can make that happen. After week 6, that'll be it. After Tuesday, week 7 will begin. That's the final week of regulation before they cut the top 4. Coaches will begin scheduling their games at that time, and when they do, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB, here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is awesome. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening.